towards the beginning of the summer split, I didn't know if they were a top 3 team in North America. Sure. They kind of faltered during the spring a little bit. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a top 3 in North America right now. They might be the best team in North America right now, just based on the eye test. This is a team that I think is going to go to DreamHack.
Really?
Yeah. This team is looking really, really strong to me right now. And it was just a matter of time until Sinosure got that God pool a little bit expanded. Everyone kind of meshed together again. Snoopy's looking like a brand new player in that Hunter role. He's looked phenomenal. He's been dominant. Sinosure has been dominant.
That's true.
Kiki is still trying to get up to speed a little bit, I think, but is still doing his job well enough. Trifecta has really been impressing me as of late.
Naja, Isis so far. Allegiance taking their sweet time about this one, having a good think. I mean, their first pick, so they're just trying to take something that they're not going to first pick, but they don't want them to have as well.
Same bands from Team Allegiance, Naja and the Morrigan, keeping it away from that mid-jungle combination from Trifecta.
Isis still the only ban from Trifecta so far. What are we expecting, the Cyrus?
Could be Osiris here, but you would see, yeah, it is going to be Osiris. Wouldn't have been surprised if it was just some throwaway ban and then take the warrior that was not taken, so... But it's going to be Soul here from Allegiance taking that away from Trifecta. And
she's really risen, hasn't she? Let's be honest.
She really has.
She died in the duo lane for a long time, and everyone then she's dead. We buffed the damage a little bit, and the next minute she's now at mid lane mage, not being played as an in-hand hunter.
It's not only the buff damage on the ultimate, the consecutive shots, but the sustain that she gets now, even from putting 1 point into that first ability. That's what allows her to be so safe in that mid lane.
Terra Susana for Trifecta, so a little bit of the old and some of the new, taking a little bit of weakened jungle options there with the Susano, but rather than locked in, that could go to weaken in the jungle.
I would assume so. This is a god that Weaken plays very well. It fits his play style where he can play very aggressive and try and carry the game from it, or just be used as a setup god for his mid laner and his hunter. It fits his god pool perfectly.
They'll also pick up Hou Yi as well, so Allegiance go for the double Hunter comp to an extent. However, Trifecta not really giving things up here. We're picking up Kronos for themselves.
Clear to me that Trifecta has been watching a lot of European SPL.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of European SPL. I mean, look at what Sinosure has been playing. Naja, Sun Wukong jungle, what Captain Swig's been playing on the side of Europe. Now Kronos, we don't know if that's going to be mid or in Hunter, but no one in NA is playing that. It's only been seen in Europe, I think.
Do you expect to see Kronos versus Hou Yi in the lane matchup? That's the real question.
I think that might be Kronos mid. That's what it feels like to me. I think Kronos has some struggles in some certain lane matchups. Hou Yi should be one, at least on paper, that would be able to find those solo kills early on against the Kronos. But we have also seen how safe Emilito can play that matchup and just sit under tower, wait until the mid to late game. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Snoopy, especially with how much he loves to play that Soul still, being one of the only hunters who does so.
Well, Ymir locked in for Allegiance. We don't see too much Ymir just lately, at least over in North America. Europe even has dropped down in the amount of play of it so far this season, but it has a 100% win ratio.
It's busted, dude. We got to nerf that.
It's going to happen.
100%.
It's always happen. And Amaterasu, the final pick, is a little bit flexible between the Ymir and Amaterasu for who could solo lane here, because they can both support too. More than likely, though, it's Ymir support.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be Ymir solo. No, it's Cyclone spin. It's probably Amaterasu
yeah,
solo.
I think so too. Look at the final pick for Trifecta. That is still flexible again, and they do have Snoopy.
Yeah, they do. That's true. I was going to say, I guess it's Kronos Hunter, but I don't know. Snoopy could be bringing back the Vulcan ADC of days of old.
A bit risky, though, if you're doing this for funsies because you know you're against Allegiance and they're out, because you still have games on the line here. This is a serious comp from Trifecta.
I agree with you. It is going to be the Vulcan ADC, though. I don't think that Trifecta is trying to have too much fun here. Maybe a little bit of fun. They probably feel pretty confident that they're going to be making it, even if they don't find the second game victory. But I have to imagine.
I nearly had flashbacks looking at this team running the jungle. Then I was like, have they got Sprint? Have they got Sunder? Just let me know quick, because I'm not going through that again. It can't happen twice, surely.
It's going to be okay. Take a breath.
Oh, I panicked. I thought Cyclone was going to do a repeat. I thought Cyclone was doing a repeat, and I'm like, no, I can't handle another one.
It's going to be okay.
Not again.
There's only one Sunder on the side of Allegiance.
There's also no Baskin and Bologna in this game, so we're okay.
It's true.
You know, that's the benefit here.
No sprints either, so you're fine.
Well, Bumbus has dropped off in this game. There was 4 last game. Now there's only 3 for Allegiance.
I think that Bumbas is good, but not a...
not 4 good.
Not 4 good. I think that's the way I feel about that. I mean, clearly teams have had success with it, but I think that you can make the argument that they would have had success either way.
Kiki taking a trade up against Allegiance here, who were proxy farming. That's going to put pressure onto the solo lane right now. Meanwhile, you can see Yankee was trying to do the speed on his own because he recognized that Trifecta would engage himself. He gets the babies, but he's going to lose the speed. We could see a full jungle trade here between the two on the right-hand side.
I don't think Matt Yankee was trying to full commit to that speed. He only wanted the minis there, just denying Trifecta level 2, at least until they had finished off that entire buff. Now Sinosure is going to be able to try and solo down that blue buff. looks like he's going to go for it entirely.
And Wickens doing exactly the same thing on the other half of the map, picking up the speed buff from Sandershaw's jungle. And now they'll probably both meet in the solo lane to pick up some farm themselves. Ymir and Ho Yi in the duo up against Terra Vulcan. Terra Vulcan sounds disgusting, actually, when you think about that in a duo lane.
A lot of lockdown and a lot of damage follow-up after that, but so does this Ymir. That wall is perfect.
You both
the
blocked.
Body block. Snoopy,
He's
going to fall here.
Get outplayed! The damage from Neramar is good to come through and pick up the kill on Snoopy and Oceans. Ionic wasn't fast enough to catch up to the second hit of that ricochet, otherwise it could have been more trouble for the duel lane of Trifecta.
That's what you got to do against something like Vulcan ADC early on. Just pick something aggressive and punish it heavily. And Ymir Ho Yi, it's about as good as it gets in terms of aggression in the early game.
The surround was the biggest thing there.
Yeah.
The wall was perfectly placed from Neramar, and the fact that one went to the right, one went to the left, and it made them kiss each other, which they couldn't move themselves because they were locked against each other. But they may have bitten off more than they can chew here. Neramar's tanking it up. Ionic's one hit from death. Neramar could be a casualty as Ocean dives in for the kill on Ionic, but Sinashaw's here to clean up the pieces.
And it's going to probably be a double here. I can't imagine Neilma's going to get out.
The wall!
Ocean's going to put himself in a bad spot. He fell quickly. Neilma trying to get out now. That's slow.
He's alive!
Neilma gonna turn around and freeze, and he's still alive.
He's just gonna sit there and hope Snoopy doesn't throw the meatball over the wall, but Snoopy won't. He'll go for the defensive Whirlwind.
No!
He doesn't get a kill. He's still alive. Just die. Just die.
Oh my
just
God,
die.
Neilma still
no, he's gonna die.
juking
He's gonna
around.
die.
Finally, Whirlwind finds him. The rewind's gonna get off, but Whirlwind is still in a bad spot here.
Whirlwind's no rewind, but Yankee's only level 4, so doesn't have the supernova to come into play. Weekend has to fall back too. Snoopy with the mobility, able to chase down for a second. What did I watch? How did Ymir live that long?
Oh, that was close, man. I thought he was going to get out. Neilma's back felt like it took 10 years to go off. I mean, I really thought he was going to be able to get out. Matt Yankee, got to give shout-outs to him. That turnaround 180 Stellar Burst to make sure that his support, or no, it was Weekend. I don't know. There were so many people there. Someone lived because Matt Yankee hit a nice Stellar Burst.
Ooh,
that's my analysis.
That was a nice ricochet from Oceans. Weekend wasn't really expecting that, so didn't have a chance to really follow up and get some extra damage off onto Snoopy. Right-hand side, Allegiance are going to try and secure the Elementals, and will do so. But those kills kind of went back and forth there. Yeah, Allegiance got the first blood in the lane, but it helped out Trifecta a little bit more in the mid and jungle.
I mean, Oceans gets a kill and an assist, so you know that Hunter's going to be a little bit ahead. And if I'm Allegiance, I just want Oceans to get as big as possible and punish Snoopy over and over again in this lane.
Neramar still level 4, not hit 5 just yet, just because of all the aggression over in the dual lane for the most part. Less farming, more fighting. That's what we like to see sometimes in the world of Smite. We'll pick up the red on the left-hand side and give it over towards Oceans.
More fighting, less farming means that maybe Trifecta hasn't been watching that much EU SPL, where they don't fight for any reason ever, at least until 23 minutes.
So who's got the mid game? That's the real question here, because I'm looking at both comps, and I feel like Trifecta maybe's mid game's a little bit stronger.
I think it might be Allegiance, because Amaterasu's so good in that mid game, making that initial few rotations. Robin's still at the peak of his damage at that stage. That ultimate is going to start hitting pretty hard. That's when Matt Yankee would start to become relevant, where Neilma still is, and Ocean's getting some power spike items. Whirlwind is the one. I think that both Vulcan and Kronos just suffer a little bit at that 17 to 18 minute mark. It really they need another 5 minutes at that point to become real nightmares.
Well, we'll see if they can get past that point then, can Trifecta, and find the 2-0 here that they need for the 3 points. Allegiance are basically playing spoiler in this game now. They can put a lot of problems on the table for Trifecta. If Allegiance can find this second win, the win here actually, to force a split, and make Trifecta sweat the rest of their day to see if they can make it to DreamHack.
And like we mentioned, Allegiance, even though they're out, this is a team that has a lot of pride, and I think that they do not want to fall here in this game. They want to make sure that they're getting as much good practice for the next split as possible.
Well, for the time being, it's just farming now, as for all the aggression in the dual lane has subsided. Even though Weekend's hanging around here to soak farm and maybe look to pick Snoopy, but Snoopy's playing it a lot safer after the beginning of the game and how much of a lead Ocean's got.
And that's what Snoopy is used to. I mean, he's played his Vulcan ADC so many times. He's got to know whenever you can't afford to push up too far. And like we mentioned, Vulcan is one of those characters that I think that gets kind of overlooked in terms of insane late game mages. He's right there for my money with Scylla and Kronos, but it takes a little bit longer for him to get relevant. And so putting him in the Hunter role makes a lot of sense. That's guaranteed farm that he's getting by himself. and he's going to get those items and get those levels a little bit sooner than he would have
in mid got caught out of position here, rotating through to the mid lane and surrounded by 3 members of Trifecta. He's still alive, but only for moments time. The bracer run doing helped him enough to get away. Hurrywin can't find the last hit again. The escapee, you may. I've never been able to say that so much. Hurrywin has been out of position though by overextending for the kill and gets punished.
Cyclone made the rotation. Kiki's on the way as well, trying to find the kills as Met Yankee is trying to get chased down, but Cyclone cleans up Sidosure, and Allegiance get away with the 2-for-0.
If only this was game 1 is what the Allegiance fans are saying right now, because it's looking pretty good in the early stages. Gold Fury is available here, but not available yet with how low the health bars are.
And you know what? It's not a coincidence that Allegiance is winning a game where they're playing loose. They're playing like they don't have...
free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not playing scared, and that's not a coincidence.
But think about it. Like, this is the same for all teams. It's even for you guys at home who play your ranked games. When you're in a promo game, you do panic a little bit and second-guess yourself more than just enjoying the game and playing your normal game.
Of course.
And Allegiance probably had that issue. And to be fair, some of the players on Allegiance have had that issue in the past where nerves of the big game can hurt you.
That's absolutely true, and it happens to the best of them. I mean, it really does. You just got to try and do your best to put that out of your mind and realize it is like any other of the hundreds of thousands of SMITE games you've played in the past. Unfortunately for Allegiance, it didn't go their way in game 1. But
do you reckon anyone's played 100,000 SMITE games?
Probably.
One person's played 100,000? Come on.
Maybe a lot of 10-minute arena surrenders.
That could happen.
The real...
I don't think of arena surrenders that much.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe that... You know what? You know who probably surrenders a lot? Siege. You get that early invade in Siege, you control the enemy jungle, game over.
And definitely not in Clash, because you'd be level 20 in 7 minutes anyway. It doesn't matter what happens.
That's true.
Oracles on the left go the way of Trifecta, so it's a nice little answer back to Allegiance's power so far in this set, because that Gold Fury is definitely a threat that if Allegiance do take, this game could continue more deeply into their favor.
And it's just about extending that mid-game power for Allegiance and trying to keep Trifecta down in that instance. I think Gold Fury certainly more important for Trifecta, but by Allegiance taking one, it would mean that Trifecta is not, so that's what's important.
Neramar is just, I don't know what he's done, but he's tossed a lucky coin or something today, because everything's just coming up his way. I just saw him like win the left-hand Harpy trade against the Kronos. It doesn't happen too often. Yeah, he's Ymir, but the amount of survivability he's had this set, and I don't know how he's done it. I
mean, remember, his Ymir at the Gauntlet Land was phenomenal. I mean, he blew everyone away with his Ymir performance. You know he's comfortable on this god. Not a real surprise for me to see him have such a good performance.
I actually think they were probably saving it for the LAN if they could and weren't going to plan on pulling it out. So people forgot about Neramar's Ymir. Bad news is, though, now they're not making LAN. I think that's the reason he's getting to play it now. They're like, okay, you can bring it out.
No reason to hold our cards anymore. We can play whatever we feel like playing. Use those secret compositions that you keep so tightly under wraps. No sense in holding those until the fall.
This is a Gold Fury call from Allegiance. It looks like, or at least a bait. The bad news is they can't really bait this because the fact there's an Oracle ward down at the Gold Fury. Trifecta will know they're not even attacking the Gold Fury just yet. But with 5 members now here, and Cyclone's going to catch the ward from Kiki that he was trying to teleport in on, meaning that Kiki won't be here just yet.
Weekend going to jump on top of Snoopy right away. Terra's Blessing popped by Yannick. Try and get someone off of Snoopy, but no one's getting ALG off that Gold Fury.
Allegiance get the Gold Fury, and Snoopy's ultimate was a little bit late. He did a good job of surviving, though. Cyclone spins a little bit out of position now and juggled in the air nicely for Snoopy to get the kill with a meatball. Meanwhile, on the backside, Sinosure was creating a distraction, but he was a little bit too scared to continue. Neramar could be in trouble, though, when the Ymir is bravely running away.
Great wall, but it just didn't last long enough. Neoma trying to escape with 1 HP again. The bracer works, a perfect wall. The freeze on the Kiki, finally. Okay. Sidosure puts him down.
Okay, he was like a raid boss again. I'm like, come on, this gotta die this time around. But Gold Fury going the way of Allegiance is exactly what they needed. The bad news is the casualties of war, 2 members, is you saw how deep they went in onto Snoopy, and Snoopy survived, which is very important for Trifecta.
It was just one of those split-up calls where Weekend saying, okay, I'll take care of Snoopy, the rest of you can stay on gold, but by the time the gold was done, Trifecta had regrouped and started to take that fight pretty handily. Overall, I mean, you look at the golden experience, gold went Allegiance's way, Trifecta the better end of the experience difference, so it's basically a wash.
For the most part, but he still benefits Trifecta, I'd say, just because of the experience gain that they got off that fight too. The gold,
I don't disagree with you. I mean,
yeah.
Experience at this stage of the game more important than gold. But you see that the experience difference negligible, gold difference negligible. So really, it doesn't matter that much at the end of the day who that Gold Fury went to. Usually when you lose gold, get 2 kills, you're saying, okay, we went pretty even there.
Well, now the 10-minute mark, Portal Demon has spawned. So there's an extra objective on the map, and we saw last set, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say last game, Trifecta, did a very good job of taking Gold Fury into Portal Demon on cooldown to continue to explore and gain that lead.
Just consistently looking for the objectives. And again, I think that Trifecta has been one of those teams that's been looking at what has made Europe so successful as of late. Their objective control is a big reason why.
I think if you actually play the God pools that they play, hang on a second, Kiki's in a bit of trouble here, but we'll use the big baby form to get back to safety. Could be go time for Allegiance to the Portal Demon because of that.
Kiki not having that ultimate certainly gives him a lot less safety. Cyclone Spin still having his means it'll be easier for their solo laner to penetrate the backline.
No Snoopy here. Snoopy was pushing in dual lane, but Horiwind's waiting patiently in the mid lane to come in for this fight. But the Portal Demon's already down. So now the pressure is on from Horiwind onto Yankee, who's one hit from death, but Disapparate will keep him alive. As well as the Aegis. Tell a lie! No, he died already! Snoopy comes in and hits Cyclone for a nice chunk of damage. But Oceans has taken out Kiki as Neremar's hunted down by Sinosure, and it's way more damage than he wanted to with Cyclone Spin wrapping around the back.
But Oceans is so low. Hurwind's going to be able to clean him up. That's the third kill for Trifecta in this engagement. That evens the kill total at 7. Again, Allegiance get an objective, but lose more members as a result.
Yeah, but look at the right-hand side too. Cyclone's going to get the tier 1 tower there, and Trifecta trying to answer back the Portal Demon. Will get the tier 1 in mid lane. They're going to have to backdoor it. Weaken's not interested in trying to defend this, and rightly slow against 3 members. It's going to be very tricky. Very
close in terms of overall damage between those two teams. And again, it's actually Allegiance who end up on top in gold and experience this time around. But
that's after. That's before the tier 1.
That's true, but they got a tier 1 as well on the right-hand side, so that's a wash as well. It's just that there's no real difference
Lazy
there.
back from Trifecta, and then they got picked off by Cyclone then. But with 3 members grouped up and nobody else around from Allegiance in time to secure or continue the aggression, we're back to an even game once more. Fire Giant is still available for either team, but at only 12 minutes in, it's too early to talk Fire Giant realistically.
And if you're, again, this has got to be heartbreaking for an Allegiance fan because you see the potential this team has. Yeah. Trifecta, as I mentioned, one of the best teams in North America right now. I don't think you can really contest against that. And Allegiance is right there with them, and it's very clear that this team has that potential to be a top team in North America. Just fell a little bit short when it mattered most.
You know what? Sometimes there's teams in the pro league that you'll class them as, you know, you're in the pro league, but you're not a pro player. But I will say about Allegiance, every member of this team, you can say they are pro players.
These guys definitely, yeah, these guys definitely are a step above, you know, the bottom end SPL teams, and these guys all have the capability to carry games. And I think that's when you start to really solidify yourself as a cut above the rest, when any one of your members can go off and have a phenomenal game and carry it for you.
Cyclone Spin trying to invade the speed buff here. Neramar coming to support, but Cyclone now surrounded by 3 members, and the crushing walls do good work from Ionic. The knock-up is good too to force Cyclone Spin to ultimate defensively, and also get the ultimate there from Sinosure, looking to try and pick off Cyclone a little bit more, but it's not enough. Kiki's still trying to run him down, however.
But not enough movement speed to catch up to the Amaterasu. Now mid lane, Oceans and Snoopy have made the rotation. They're going to box it out a little bit here.
Yeah, I just saw Snoopy's ult go off, and it was actually just to clear the wave to relieve the pressure that Oceans had on that tier 1 tower, just to allow Trifecta to hold it, which is very important in the game, especially with Allegiance's tier 1 tower being on cooldown.
And at this point in the game, who cares about Snoopy's ultimate? It's still not doing that much damage. In fact, I'm a little interested in actually hold that thought. Weekend is going in onto Snoopy right now, jumped on top of him with the ultimate. The Sunder came through as well. Snoopy still has both relics, trying to get away from the Allegiance jungler.
The Vulcan's mobility is insane. Hit a god with an ability, you get a speed boost, and that's exactly what Snoopy needed to do. Yankee needs a speed boost right now to get away from Ionic, and the Suns will do that, creating a slow field, but Kiki now wraps around the back and finds Yankee. Attention paid, though, however, towards Neramar, who should be an easier pick, and will fall down eventually, thanks to the knock-up from Kiki and the Umbrella Rank.
We see Ymir's weaknesses rear their ugly head once more. Neilma looks like he's in a fine spot, and then all of a sudden he's just not, because he's Ymir and Trifecta can chase him down pretty easily.
8-7 now in the kills. Oceans will get one of these left-hand harpies and juke out Horiwind for the second 2. Trifecta on the right-hand side will get those ones instead. I'm just keeping an eye on the builds. I love the Brawler's Beat Stick actually on Sinosure here. Just remove a little bit of the healing that is secretly hidden away in Allegiance's comp.
There's plenty of small heals there for Allegiance's composition, as we can actually losing that trade pretty heavily to Snoopy. You can already tell this Vulcan is starting to get ready to go. Can we actually take a look at what Snoopy's leveling? I'm curious as if he's even leveling that ultimate or if he's just putting the abilities into the other points. No, it is going to be that ultimate. It's the turret that is not getting any points. And that's what's so cool about Vulcan. You never know what the players are doing.
So much flexibility with this god. I mean, obviously backfire is something you really want to max earlier if you can. Freeze onto Ionic there though, but it's not going to slow them down yet. Cynosure now grouping up, pulls 2 into the route from Ionic. He's going to get the beads out of Met Yankee. Nice, important beads there for Trifecta to find, because the Gold Fury is available for both teams to contest.
And just like Snoopy has started swinging in that Hunter role, Whirlwind is going to start doing the same on this Kronos in the mid lane. He's gone for the Warlock sash.
I was going to say, Warlocks.
Very interesting. You don't usually see this out of Kronos players, but just a full commit to the late game. If you can get that Warlock sash fully stacked, it's one of the best items you could possibly buy as a mid laner. It gives you everything you want. You got power, you've got health, you've got mana. Great. I want all 3 of those things. But it's difficult to get that going. It takes a long time to stack up. We're 16 minutes in, and Whirlwind has like 20 stacks on it. He's 20% of the way there.
I mean, to be fair, Whirlwind's one of those guys that has run the Book of Thoth Warlock Sash before, and people like Kukulkan. He's not scared to pull out the double stacking. And he's one of the only ones that really favors this Warlock Sash, so it's not too surprising to see him with it. And when you actually look at Allegiance's comp, it's all about burst. So if he can survive the initial burst composition, get the rewind off, the health from the Warlock Sash will help him to do that.
Without a doubt. I mean, if I would build Warlock Sash on literally every mage if I could. It's just a matter of getting away with it. And Whirlwind does a good job of staying safe, playing passive, and only engaging
fully
in situations
engaged
like
on,
this.
But the wall is good. Still Neramar in trouble as the Brace of Undoing didn't do too much thanks to the Brawler's Beat Stick out of Cynosure. Now with Neramar being dead, Trifecta can just fall back to gold.
That was just a quick engagement there. Trifecta found Neoma all alone. Cyclone Spin split pushing on the right-hand side. He's going to get the tier 2, but Trifecta going to get the Gold Fury in response.
Kiki taking on 3, and it's going to allow his team to get the Gold Fury, but Kiki will fall down for this. However, now it's Allegiance slightly out of position because Trifecta's army is here, and a fantastic ult from Met Yankee just wrapping around the boulder to pick up the kill, and Snoopy's looking for the cleanup after the meatball. Oh.
That was so hot, and I'm so sad that didn't work.
I thought it was going to. I really did. Still, the dive is on. Weakening Ocean's under pressure here under the tier 1 tower. Snoopy's going to get the meatball off on 1. The backfire should clean him up 2 for the double kill for the Hunter in the dual lane. Who's playing a mage?
If he would have knocked up Oceans to guarantee that
over the wall. That was dope.
Man, why did Oceans have to use Aegis there, man? What's the fun in that?
Credit where it's due for the Aegis, though. Credit where it's due to him for managing to realize.
No, I wanted to see big damage numbers,
It was dope. It was dope. It was a great play from both of them.
Sure.
Come on.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on. I mean, Snoopy's presence of mind to be able to go meatball into ult, and if it hits, he's guaranteed
No, it's ult into meatball. You throw the ult first, and then you knock them into it with the meatball.
Even better.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Even better.
It's so cool. Mages doing big damage numbers is what I live for, Hindu.
Okay.
I wanted to see it.
I live for underdogs winning games. That's what I do. And right now, I class Allegiance as the underdogs just because they lost the first game. Game 2, though, they're down in gold again now, basically. Sorry, they're up in gold a little bit, I should say. Not by much, but it's still relatively even this game. Oh, God, I bet they wish this was game 1. I tell you, I said that before. They're playing so much better overall as a unit. They're being aggressive. They're not just sat there waiting for Trifecta to initiate on them.
Exactly. They are being the aggressors. They're the one trying to dictate the pace. It's been Allegiance pulling Gold Furies. It's been Allegiance, aggressing on a Snoopy. It obviously isn't going entirely their way. It's a very close game. Sure. They're down 4 kills, but certainly a different look than what we saw in game 1.
Well, level 14 for the duo in the mid lane from Allegiance, Weekend and Met Yankee. Meanwhile, Cynosure and Whirlwind, a better job of farming overall, 16 and 15 respectively for them. Susano at 16, one of the highest levels in the game, just behind the solo laners. Isn't too bad of a situation to be in there.
No, especially with 3 deaths. It really speaks to how well Cynosure has been farming, because you'd think that with how much farm he has, he wouldn't have spent a lot of time on that respawn, but tied for top deaths.
They're looking to pick off Ionic here, at least get some damage off with that wall, but now this time is to go from Trifecta. The ultimate out of terror is popped early as Weekend dives to the backline looking for Whirlwind. The ultimate only really hit onto Ionic, who can weather that storm quite happily. Cynosure trying to punish Raven a little bit as Cyclone step forward and gets CC, but the Thorns is buying him a bit of time to slow down and get his ultimate off.
There's Snoopy's ult, not going to hit anybody who was close. Neoma gets pulled back in by Cynosure, but Met Yankee drops it over the wall.
Just snuck around the corner and gets the big old damage off for free. Kiki has to fall back in Big Baby, and Allegiance have a power play with the man advantage here.
Not going to be able to hit that Stellar Burst, just too quick for that Baby, but you're right, Allegiance have got that tower shredding composition just like Trifecta had in game 1. These objectives shouldn't last long between the 2 hunters.
Still a little bit scared, Allegiance here to tank this up. Neramar's too low to really tank it, so he's being forced onto Oceans. The steal attempt looked at, and it is not going to go the way of Trifecta. Kiki and Snoopy and Cynosure, though, could collapse as Cyclone goes in on his own.
But he's level 19, even without an ultimate, even though it's coming up soon. Not a whole lot of danger for Allegiance and Soul Laner. When we saw just how much he was controlled in that last fight, and he still was able to get out of danger. That was with 5 people hitting him with all they had, basically. Great team fight from Allegiance, but you're right, it all came down to Met Yankee finding that explosion on the Hurricane over the wall.
A couple of minions left here for the tier 1 to be able to fall down to Oceans. The Cyclone Spin will stun Ionic in place, but a nice knock-up coming out of Cynosure will slow down Allegiance, picking up Ionic. Immediately he'll go towards Met Yankee and force him back too. Meanwhile, Kiki up against good old Weekend, continuing the little trades in the jungle.
Weekend's got a lot of pen in that build and can really handle Kiki fairly well with the build that he's gone for. Nice little ricochet coming out of Oceans, just...
Oh, Cynosure gets a nice pull off Yankee, and there's a Vulcan ultimate that hits only Neramar. Weekend was wrapping around the back and meets Snoopy once again. This is skirmishes upon skirmishes consistently, but no one really finding the lead.
Chasing kills there for Trifecta. They don't find anything. In fact, they lose Ionic and Snoopy's ult for trying to continue to push forward. Now Snoopy might be in a bit of danger. Oh, Weekend looked away at the exact wrong time. We've all been there. You're watching one corner for 5 minutes, you turn away.
The fight is on though, and Weekend still trying to pick up Snoopy as Snoopy was trying to make sure the Oracles didn't both go the way of Allegiance, which they did. Ionic will make sure Weekend does disappear and get a little bit of damage in return from Cyclone and the Oceans, but it's all fine for now.
And this is what Allegiance want to do now, is try and force these engagements, because Heroine still has not gotten a lot of stacks on that Warlock sash. She has a little bit of pen now, but Snoopy hasn't quite found that big damage item. He's still waiting on some penetration from the Obsidian Shard. There's a good time for Allegiance to be fighting.
If you are just tuning in for the first time today, this is North America's last day as we watch Kiki in a world of hurt here. Trifecta and looking for the 2-0 if they can find it against Allegiance, because if they do, they should be going to DreamHack, and Allegiance are trying to stop that from happening.
Ocean's 1 HP, not going to be able to get out of there. Snoopy finds his 4th. Neoma pushing forward, finds a perfect wall, locking all of Trifecta in, but they wanted to be there. They're still winning the fight.
Kiki picks up Weekend and Met Yankee's forced to use his Aegis. The Vulcan comes through, and Snoopy will connect. Met Yankee's dead, and the Ymir is no longer here as Snoopy yet again gets a double kill.
Who needs Gold Fury? Trifecta, they want Fire Giant. Exactly. Who needs Hunters? We got magic damage out the wazoo. Trifecta.
What's a wazoo?
I don't know, but it's a saying, and I was just going to go with it.
You should check that out before you say that again.
Yeah, I think of like a one of those musical instruments, like
it might be.
A kazoo. That's what I'm thinking.
Cyclone Spin versus the World. Can he do it and steal the Fire Giant? 23 minutes in, looking for the steal, but he's not going to. What?
He got it.
What?
He got it.
How? There's 5 of you! Oh my god, Penta! Wait, it's Cyclone, it could be. For a second I was like, no way is he going to do that on his own. Now he's going to pay the price, but he's going to delay the game a little bit more. So, if you're a team that's doing Fire Giant and there's 5 of you and there's only 1 of the enemy team, what should you probably do there?
Ooh,
answers on a postcard now.
Pick me. I know the answer.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Let's find out.
Kill him. Stop doing the objective and kill them.
I mean, do anything apart from just let him walk up and steal it.
Does that mean I'm right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't want to admit it. Yes! With the Fire Giant going the way of Allegiance there, nobody gets the Fire Giant. The gold and experience from the Fire Giant does go to Allegiance. Now they're trying to capitalize on the Gold Fury because Trifecta invested so much into that Fire Giant. Weekend on the front line, needing a lot more damage than he likes to, forced to beads early on. The Vulcan ult is in place, and boom, yet again, Snoopy gets another kill with his ult.
What do you know? Vulcan hits late game, and all of a sudden, he is connecting with these ultimates. 8-1 and 8 for Snoopy, top of the player damage charts.
Hurricane frozen in place, but it's Neramar taking the brunt of the damage. CC to high heaven yet again. He can't pick up Hurricane alone. Meanwhile, Oceans is running from 2, doing a grand old job of it, but it's too little too late. Kiki picks up the kill, and yet again, it's Trifecta at the Gold Fury, and this time it's only Yankee in the area to try and stop it.
No Cyclone Spin to seal this one away. Trifecta going to secure their 2nd Gold Fury of the game, and this gold lead is still non-existent. It's non-existent. I mean, the experience difference is pretty heavy in Trifecta's favor, but that's not going to be relevant for that much longer. I mean, we're talking 5 minutes away from experience being irrelevant on either side.
So, yeah, you're right. 25 minutes in, I think we're going to see late game with how this is going now. And I think that's the big key here is who's got the better late game. And you were mentioning it earlier on, you know, like Kronos and Vulcan don't have the greatest of mid to late games, but their late game is very strong.
Oh, I can't imagine a scarier 2 mages to be going up against. Maybe Chronos Scylla, but even then, Scylla, it's like if you juke the Item Monster, yes, you have to worry about Crush and Sick 'em, they're insane, but those cooldowns are longer than Vulcan cooldowns, and Vulcan cooldowns hurt almost as much. They provide a little bit less CC, but Vulcan Ultimate can do what I'm a Monster can do, basically. Vulcan is terrifying in the late game, and we're there. I mean, he is almost to Rod of Tahuti. He's got 5 completed items. That Rod is going to be real scary.
But don't count out Met Yankee on that Sol and Oceans on the Hou-Yi. They are both very, very strong in the late game in their own right.
But Oceans has had some struggles in these team fights, man. I mean, he's got 5 deaths. A lot of those kills coming in that laning phase in the early stages of the game.
That's true.
Oceans has been on the run throughout this entire mid to late game.
I'm talking about him being on the run. It looks like he is investing into Fatalis next as an item, and I think that's one of the reasons he's doing that is because he's so worried about the pressure. Talking about pressure, Kiki's under it right now.
He has to use his ultimate in response to Cyclone Spins, but Dazzling Offense, one of the shortest cooldowns in the game, especially when you've got 30% CDR for Cyclone Spins, so you've got so you're going to be okay in terms of trading those ults.
Trifecta looking to fight here potentially as well. Remember, they do have Ionic with the ultimate available from Terra that can come into play and allow them to chase down Allegiance a little bit more, but Allegiance playing it safe and wise. They avoid the damage, and it's Kiki who's caught out. Kiki's in a hell world of hurt. Can he get away in time? No is the answer. Not too much invested from Allegiance there to find that killer. Snoopy's trading it against Met Yankee.
Gets his wing blade popped there by Met Yankee. Both players taking a good amount of damage, but Met, of course, has that Radiance, so he's not going to be low health for long. Pops it and immediately up to almost full HP, and with the Bancroft's lifesteal as well, should be okay. Kiki just not in the right spot. I mean, dashes into literally 5 members of Allegiance when he had just used his ultimate a couple seconds before.
Full respect to Allegiance, though, really trying hard in this game, even though they are out of the running right now. It does put pressure onto Trifecta, and that's the thing. Trifecta are being forced to work hard for their spot if they want to find the win here. Allegiance are making it as difficult as possible.
Don't forget, Trifecta not out by any stretch if they don't win this game, but they aren't guaranteed either. There are some scenarios where they would end up missing time. Valencia.
That's what will happen for Trifecta if they do drop this game. Allegiance giving it their role so far. And in terms of map position right now, Allegiance are in a better spot. They've got more Tier 1 towers standing. The objectives do matter because the Titan stays healthier, and it also makes it more difficult to take those Phoenixes out.
I'm not allowed to say wazoo, but you can say squeaky bum time.
I was joking. You can't say wazoo. I just wanted to know if you knew what I meant, that's all.
I don't.
Okay. You'll find out after cast, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have some tweets and I'll be like, oh my god, I said that.
Maybe. Or maybe not. I mean, you say hoagie, so.
Hoagie is the appropriate term for what it is.
No, it's not. I think it's just your region.
Yes.
That says it.
You're right.
Which means it's not.
Pittsburghers have the worst vocabulary as well, so you know what? I might actually have to hold that one.
No, I'm sticking with it. There's an engagement coming out as the wall is dropped down, but the wall separates Kiki from the punch. Kiki doesn't really care because he wants Oceans. Oceans gets a good ricochet off and has to use the Aegis to avoid the Vulcan ultimate coming out. Kiki's still pressuring them back as Cyclone on the left was keeping the other members of Trifecta busy, but still no one with an advantage just yet.
Good wall again from Neilma. There's the freeze on to Kiki. The full commit. There he goes. Oceans evens up his scoreline with his 5th kill.
Sanashor keeping 3 busy at the back as Weaken and Cyclone Spin trying to deal with Hurrywing, Ionic and Snoopy, but the damage mages at the back line of Trifecta in a very healthy spot right now. All ultimates from both teams consumed in this space of about a minute.
Careful, because Allegiance can, of course, shred these objectives very quickly between that Sol and Hou-Yi.
They got the last one.
They sure did. And
they only need one person to get the last one this time. Let's find out if they can get this one, but Ionic is caught in an awkward spot. The freeze is good and the burst is just too much for Ionic to handle. He's taken out, but Ocean's ate a lot of damage from Hurrywing there, and Weaken's very low too, and very low on mana. It means they've just did enough Trifecta on the defense there to stop Allegiance taking the fire just yet.
Snoopy finding the 2-man backfire there was enough to put both Weaken and Oceans back to base, and so the Fire Giant does not go Allegiance's way. Trifecta still basically even. Hurrywing has sitting second on the team in player damage, second in the game in player damage, but I just haven't felt that impact quite yet from that Chronos. The CC has been pretty solid out of him. Those stuns have hit the mark on the Neilma consistently.
But it's an expensive build that he's gone for. We're looking at it here. Warlock Sash into Book of the Dead. I mean, they are expensive items in their own right. next item is when he might start to really swing and destroy people, but it's a little bit of time off yet.
Snoopy the focus once more. Weaking to find the root, forces the Aegis out from Snoopy.
Great ult.
Cyclone still continuing the chase.
And there's a rewind out of Hurry when it puts him in an awkward spot too. Buddy gets cooldowns back, so engages onto Cyclone spin. Sinosure pulls in Cyclone as well, but Cyclone's so tanky at this stage, he's not really too worried. Yankee, though, was hanging around to support him and almost got himself in a tricky spot himself.
Fire Giant finally let go by Team Allegiance. They've got 5 people here, everyone ready to go for Trifecta and Allegiance.
Fire Giant pulled for a second, but the Portal Demon is respawning, as you just said there, Aggro. And now at 30 minutes in, this is where things get dangerous between the teams. The later we go, 1 death, you're dead for almost a minute, and a minute in Smite is a world of time.
I kind of like what Neoma does. Pulls the Fire Giant, but takes a little bit too much damage because of it. Portal Demon gets leashed as well. 2-man stun from Ionic as Kiki's handling 3 on the left side.
Big key is what Snoopy can do with the meatballs and the backfires and the Vulcan ultimates, which miss completely there. Neramar gets a 3-man praise, but Neramar's getting very low. The Sun's Promotions will help him out. Kiki's getting pressured by 2 hunters at the same time here, and Kiki's on the run. They're trying to pick up the front line and will do so. Meanwhile, it's Weekend that was in the back line, trying to do exactly the same thing as Kiki that will pay the iron price.
But look at where Oceans is. He's got a great angle to this team fight. Ionic frozen, does find the double dash, but it's in the wrong side of the map. That wall makes Cyclone spin right, reconsider. Well, Neoma just gets controlled by Whirlwind.
Yeah, just slightly out of position, and Sinosure and Kronos just go, well, okay, let's just pick up this free kill. And now we've got a 3v4. Quick teleport back to base coming out from Ionic. But with Sinosure and Whirlwind still watching this could be close. It could be a fight just down to who gets the last hit.
Whirlwind playing aggressive. It goes down, and it does go Allegiance's way. Cyclone pops the Thorns just to make sure there's no full commit from Trifecta, even with Ionic's ultimate coming from that mid lane Terra. Either way.
Brave call from Allegiance.
Yeah, it was.
Brave call,
No
because
fear.
against a Kronos and a Vulcan, that's a 50-50 shot at best.
And again, do they do that in game 1? Probably not. I mean, there's just, I don't think there's a way that Allegiance has the confidence to do that with the way they played in game 1. Game 2, they go for it, and they end up getting it.
Right? No stress. That's what you were saying before. Yep. It's the same sort of situation here. 22-13 now. Gold lead is slightly in Allegiance's favor. Experience, we're going all the way here, so expect level 20s eventually. But you can see how much of a fight this game has been when you see people like Yankee, who's a mid laner, and Oceans, who's a hunter, not even level 20 yet, at 32 minutes in the game.
Well, Legion's going to get a little bit of extra golden experience for themselves. Gold Fury goes their way. Pause comes through, but Legion's just trying to finish off those big power spike items. That Gold Fury, they're clearly losing nothing on the right side of the map. Portal Demon was already down in their favor. Fire Giant with Cyclone and Neoma there. There's no way that Trifecta is going to be able to get that their way. So that's a nice, quick little Gold Fury for Trifecta to try and finish off those power items.
Just to remind you one more time, if you tune in, it's the last day of North American Summer Split, and 5 teams were in contention coming into today to try and get themselves to Valencia. 4 remain now after that game 1 where Allegiance did drop that, but Trifecta still in the running and looking to secure their spot.
And it's a close one, man. Allegiance has had a great showing in this one. Trifecta, Snoopy in particular, has looked very strong, but his last few ultimates haven't quite hit the mark, and that's a big reason why Allegiance is still here. Snoopy is a big key, sitting top of the player damage charts. He's got that full build. He's ready to go.
Look at his score, like 9, 1, and 10. 19 kills he's been involved in this game from the Hunter position. Yes, it is a Vulcan, but he's from the Hunter position.
And look how little magical defense Allegiance has on their roster. I mean, Neoma has no dedicated magical defense.
No Hot Ward Amulet either. I'm very surprised no Hot Ward Amulet. When you think about the amount of magical damage you're going to be taking in this game, you should be picking one up. I mean, the aura, Hot Ward didn't get changed at all, just so people could complain about auras. Hot Ward was fine, didn't get nerfed, and it's not been picked up. Surprising.
And it was good then, it's good now. It would have been perfect here. I mean, Sinosure is doing plenty of damage as well, but look at the top 2 members in the game. It's Whirlwind and it's Snoopy. They both do magical damage. Also very surprised that we don't see a Shogun's Kasari on the side of Trifecta. Whirlwind's a little bit lacking in the attack speed department. He's gone for this power build instead.
That's true. Red buff on the left-hand side will go the way of Snoopy. Cyclone still trying to fight Snoopy and keep him busy, but ring around the roses and Cyclone finds out he's a pocket full of poses.
Fire Giant is already down to half HP. Weaken trying to create that frontline zone as Ionic pops the ultimate.
And Sinosure looking towards Weaken, who jumps in place to avoid the the knockup from the Whirlwind from Sinosure, so comes out on top of that one. Neramar eats a lot of damage at only level 14, has to be very careful with himself now as he's starting to get to that stage as a Ymir where you're a little bit further behind. You're not going to live as long, even with a full build.
3 ultimates used, a bunch of relics. Weaken used both of his Sunder and his Purification Beads, and Allegiance comes up empty-handed. I mean, Trifecta just does a great job of pushing forward, yes, but no real intention for the full commit without Snoopy there.
Trifecta just need this 2-0 to get themselves to DreamHack and just not have to care about the rest of the day, but Allegiance won't let that happen. In goes Neramar, he's more damage than he gives out. Kiki eats a lot of damage too. He's forced to hold defensively up against Cyclone Spin, who's still working away on Hurrywind, and Oceans is once again forced to Aegis because Snoopy's on the mark with his ultimate.
So close, and Snoopy, even without the ultimate, with the full build, full health, he's going to be doing plenty with that just regular 3 abilities. Nice attempt at poke by Met Yankee, but everyone is a little bit out of range with that Stellar Burst.
At this stage of the game, that Vulcan turret does come into a 6th man on the field for them. Stellar Burst coming out from Met Yankee there. Nice little poke onto Snoopy to slow them down. Freeze once again onto Ionic from Neramar, but Ionic's happy to eat those freezes if it means the rest of his team won't.
That's what I was just about to say. Nilma's found some freezes recently, but it's always been onto Ionic, and I don't think he cares too much. It means that Snoopy's not getting frozen. It means that Hurrywind isn't getting frozen. Even Sinosure not getting frozen. All 3 of those members after that extended engagement didn't use a relic.
You'd think after the early game that Allegiance had, with the couple of kills they got in the duo lane, things might have gone a little bit more beneficial for themselves, but we're back to an even game once more. Cyclone and Neramar engage onto Kiki, but Neramar's out of position now, and they're trying to collapse down onto Neramar and pick him up. Can't really get the ultimate off in time. Sinosure gets credit for the kill, and now Kiki zoning away 2 of the damage dealers as the front line from Allegiance are just trying to get back to support them as well.
Trifecta can just let this go or keep it going. Weaken's actually going to go in. Met Yankee finds Snoopy with the supernova over the wall.
Weaken manages to secure this for the team. Double kill for him as the damage deal is overextended. And now is Kiki on the run.
What a turnaround for Allegiance. Kiki trying to get away, silenced out by Cyclone Spin. He's going to kill himself by putting himself in this blue buff wall. 4 die on the side of Trifecta because of a perfect turnaround. I don't think there was anyone on the map who thought that that was going to work out except Weaken and Met Yankee. Those 2 had no hesitation, dropped the ultimates right over the wall. Oceans was right there as well. What a call, and the trust that Allegiance has in that call to turn and burn in that scenario ends up entirely in their favor.
This is where they felt, I think that's where they thought their strength was last time in the first game, where they could bait out Trifecta to use enough abilities, enough ultimates, and overextend, and then punish them for it. The bad news is that wasn't paying off last game. This time it is. You saw the way Weaken and Cyclone Spin fell back, made it look like they were all running for the high heavens, and instead they went, made you look, you came too deep, and now we can pay it back to you.
I can't believe that worked so well. My first thought when Weaken jumps in is this guy's fried. Yeah. Like, he is dead here, 100%. But the guys who were dead were Snoopy, Sinosure, Hurrywind. I mean, everybody. Neither Sino nor Snoopy even used a relic. They died before they got a chance. Hurrywind got the Aegis off, and that bought him another 2 seconds before he died to follow that up. Really impressive out of Allegiance.
Well, now Allegiance will get the Pole Demon too. Gold Fury spawning in about 15 seconds time. This Fire Giant will give him a substantial lead now because of the extra stuff they can get on the map. The Tier 2 town on the left is the only one remaining here. Allegiance looking really solid.
They've got a chance, man. Game 1 was all Trifecta. Game 2 has been incredibly back and forth. 37 minutes in. I mean, 7K gold, 5K experience. I don't really care that much about either of those numbers.
There's a famous saying that I made up. You're only as good as your last game. So as long as Allegiance win this, they're the better team than Trifecta.
A famous saying that you made up.
That I made up. It's famous.
Now
you're only as good as your last game. Remember that. In anything you ever do, you're only as good as your last game.
I think that that's not your
I'm speaking
saying.
out my wazoo. It's okay. Gold Fury is slowly dropping on this left-hand side, but will go to Allegiance, and now Tier 2 on the left can be looked at too.
Thanks for getting in trouble with me.
No problem. I'll save you.
I appreciate that.
I'll save you. It's okay.
I mean, gold at this stage.
It's not that bad. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Gold Fury at this stage, again, I don't really care that much. I mean, Neilma needs his 6th item. Neilma needs, and Ionic needs some more levels as well, but that's going to come with time. Hurrywind not hitting level 20, much more concerning. The fact that he doesn't have Rod of Tahuti at 38 minutes. Trifecta really need that extra damage out of him.
And it's one thing we didn't mention about Trifecta's comp, but they do like tower push. Realistically, they're kind of relying on Kronos to come online to really swing for the towers.
He does enough. He does so much. Yeah, he's got the best tower push in the game. I mean, I'm not worried about their tower push if they get a kill.
Well, it's not wait out so far for him because they've only got a tier 1 in the mid lane.
No, they haven't won many fights that they haven't gone right to bigger objectives afterwards. They haven't had a chance to try and siege it down quite yet.
Well, talk about siege, and this is what Allegiance are looking to do now. They send Cyclone Spin to the mid lane to keep Kiki busy, and meanwhile it's a 4-on-4 on the left. But the engages are really going to come down to Nerumar more than anything. With this sprint and the wall, no blink engages really available for them, but they also do have Weaken able to just jump in like we saw in the last team fight.
Sino, Whirlwind, Kiki, those guys have got to get some Aegises on cooldown for Snoopy's ultimate to connect. He's had some good ones, but they've almost always been Aegised out.
Walled off his Snoopy. Nerumar was really looking to pin him before the backfire happened there. So Allegiance will have to wait again, wait for the cooldowns to come available for Ymir to be able to look for it again, or just force Trifecta to leave their base for a second.
But I don't think Trifecta is too keen on that idea. No reason to be, but Snoopy's left
There we
alone,
go.
and now immediately the engage was attempted.
But he gets away just in time. The backfire hit enough to give him the mobility to escape the freeze from Nerumar. Cyclone going to tank it up and force the ultimate as Ionic got very low. Hurrywin rewind early. Vulcan with Snoopy missed completely.
No, it hit
Still,
Met.
though, the Phoenix is still standing.
Yankees 1 HP from
Apologies.
Snoopy's ultimate, so now it's Allegiance on the run. Sinosure trying to chase down Neil Ma. The wall comes up, but it is going to stop the advance from Trifecta for the moment.
Ultimate still available for Met Yankee and Nerumar, however, but I don't think they're the best ultimates in the world to take on an attack on the Phoenixes here, so it looks like the Allegiance will fall back. This Fire Giant is only going to realistically get him a gold here in a tier 2 tap.
That's what it looks like, man. This Fire Giant is going to fall off in the next 10 seconds, so already,
Good work.
Yeah, Trifecta does a great job of defense.
But maybe, just maybe, Trifecta don't fall for this against Allegiance, because Allegiance look like they're coming back for one more time for a final siege.
There's a couple wards there that Allegiance walked over, though, so even without Fire Giant, Allegiance feels comfortable enough to try and force this up. Hurrowin doesn't have his ultimate or his Aegis right
Allegiance don't have any relics. Yeah, I was about to say, no beads available for Weaken and Aegis available for Oceans, but outside of that, there's nothing really left. There are positioned, however, a couple of more survivable items as Cyclone dives in with the ultimate again, as does Weaken, Sinosure, and Hurrywind in a world of hurt. Sinoshure's still alive, but Hurrywind, meanwhile, has already been taken off the map.
Snoopy had a good ultimate, but not good enough to find a kill quite yet. Weaken running for his life. He's gonna fall to the help of the Phoenix.
Oceans is one hit from death to the meatball on Met Yankee was huge, and he needs one more hit to bring him down. Snoopy can't find it, has to Aegis the damage from Nerumar, and then backfires to pick him up. Nerumar will fall down next as Ionic now chase onto Cyclone Spin, and this could be a throw, boys, because look at those respawn timers.
50+ seconds. Oceans has to run away with 1 HP.
It's not a throw, it's a Fire Giant now.
Yeah, this is Fire Giant for Trifecta, except Cyclone Spin's here. And he's alive, and he already did it once. I mean, I doubt Trifecta falls for the same trick twice, but you never know.
Well, there's no wards on that right-hand side, but there is a tier 1 tower for Cyclone Spin to teleport to, and he'll probably be heading over there as quick as his legs can carry him. Nope, he's not going to teleport, actually, he's going to manually walk over. And if that's the case, this is going to be gone before he even gets here.
Trifecta going to secure their first Fire Giant of the game. Frenzy Pop just to make sure there's no doubt about this one.
I think he needed TP then. If he TPs to tier 1, he could potentially pull up a defense, but it's still rough.
Maybe.
I'd say it's a rough defense to try and defend it, but he did it last time against 5.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's just the stakes are so much higher now. We're 40+ minutes in, and so his respawn timer is going to be, 60 seconds almost, and then you got to worry about Trifecta sieging it down if you don't get it and you die. I mean, there's plenty of variables. I think I like the idea from Cyclone Spin. I mean, clearly Trifecta can defend against the Fire Giant, so why can't Allegiance?
The only player that's really standing out for me in this set because of just how this game's gone, everyone's making small mistakes or great plays. Snoopy is the only one that seems to be consistently escaping the majority of the time, doing a good job of self-peeling for himself, getting peel from his team, but also returning ridiculous amounts of damage.
He's done great. I mean, almost 40k damage in 40 minutes. That's a crazy high number, and selling that Dynasty Plate Helm, going all in for the damage with the Divine Ruin. I like this idea.
I mean, if I got told I went to a game and I could do 1,000 player damage a minute, I'd be a happy boy.
Yeah, especially because you play support. That'd be something.
I'm playing Bacchus then, if that's the case.
Yeah, seriously.
It's the only one.
You really could do 1,000 damage a minute. I wouldn't be too crazy for that god, but look at this. Allegiance aside, they're going to push instead of trying to defend these towers.
This is a good call, though, because the tier 1, tier 2 on the left, they can afford to lose it and get back to defend in time. And this makes a call for Trifecta. Do we base or do we push? And the call is base, which means Allegiance are buying time against Trifecta's Fire Giant buff.
I think I like Hurwin staying here. Yeah, this is the right call, I think, for Trifecta.
He's still thinking about it.
Just trying to get this tier 2. He's going to shred this super fast and be able to be an impact in this fight.
Nerumar goes a little bit deep. Cyclone Spin going even deeper onto Snoopy to try try and get pressure onto him once again. But Snoopy returns the favor, and the Bancross Talon will sustain him back up. Nevermar,
still going.
Eats a lot of damage. And yeah, you're right. Horrorwind on the left-hand side is looking for the Phoenix now.
Sprint was popped just to try and get Allegiance away to back, but it's not going to be in time. Horrorwind finds that one, no problem.
Middle Phoenix maybe for him? No, he's going to return back to base with the rest of his team. Fire Giant, funny enough, Horrorwind's the only one without him.
That's true. The one who could use it the most in that split push scenario could have potentially backdoored the tier 2 tower in mid if he had it, but I like his decision there. And Trifecta does a good job of not taking that bait, even with Cyclone Spin going really deep to try and find Snoopy, still did not go for the counter engage. Good patience and discipline from Trifecta to say, we're getting the better end of this trade almost no matter what. Just play it safe. Unless Allegiance try and full commit to the Phoenix, we just let them do whatever they want and allow Horrorwind to get the Phoenix.
Definitely in that territory that not many teams end up going to very often. 44 minutes in this game, and this is where you really see the grit of a team most of the time, because they don't get to experience this that often during scrims and even in the regular season. Going this deep in a game, there's a lot more variables that you don't normally take into account in the generally 30-minute games lengths.
I mean, 45-minute scrims are tough. I mean, no one wants to even get to that point in the game a lot of the time. So you're right. I mean, these teams don't have a lot of experience here, probably. It is. It's very hard, and you just got to kind of trust that your team fights that worked at 20 minutes could potentially work at 40, but we all know how different those kind of team fights can be.
Well, Kiki's so tanky on the front side. He's going to be able to take a tier 2 with Trifecta and the rest of the Fire Giant buff, which hasn't got much more time remaining, and I think Trifecta would like that tier 2 in mid if they could get to it. Definitely taking the safer route, which is wise.
Interesting that Horrorwind went for Winged Blade instead of Fatalis. I thought that was going to be his 6th item, but went for the survivability instead, which I respect. I mean, he's going to be doing enough damage anyway.
There's a hell of a lot of slows in Allegiance too, so yeah, they're going to be a little bit worried. The wall from Neramar by a minute, and there goes Weaken diving in, looking to aggressive to Snoopy and Horrorwind. Hurry will rewind immediately, meaning that cooldown is not available anymore. Sun's raining down from Oceans to try and keep Kiki busy from diving the backline once more. Big Baby is used. Tier 2 tower still stands.
3 ultimates on each side. The relics both used by Ionic there, but no one else on Trifecta needed to.
Got him.
Neoma controlled. That Mantle of Discord stun helping him out a lot, but not enough as Horrorwind finds his 5th.
And now the tier 2 tower falls down. Fire minions pouring down the left-hand side, and Allegiance, who were in control of this game for certain moments, and now having Trifecta beat down their Phoenixes. 2 are now down, only 1 remaining.
Trifecta so close to punching their ticket to DreamHack Valencia, but still playing it safe. Don't want to worry about those 4 members of Allegiance. I think that's the right call. A little bit surprised that they don't go for the right side Phoenix, though. I feel like going for the end, a little bit greedy. Right side Phoenix, even with Ionic being kind of poked out, Horrorwind's 6th item Chronos. I mean, that's as strong as he's ever going to get. It's not going to take long for that Phoenix to fall. I feel like Trifecta could have maybe broken the base a little bit harder there.
It's so funny when you look at North America and the fact 5 teams came in today with a chance of going still. And I think at the start of this split, you were probably mentioning 7 of those teams were in contention for trying to make it. That's how close it's been. Think about Eager, you know, Team AI now. Yeah. Like, they were really high up there, which put pressure onto these 2, but AI has just slipped up time and time again now.
And Allegiance, with how well they started off this split, I mean, they looked like they were a shoe-in to make DreamHack, but
schedules really matter, don't they? When you think about it, the schedules that you get randomly assigned of who you're going to play in which week can dictate how your season's going to be, because if you drop games in the early season against teams that you would have beaten potentially later on or expected to beat, comes back to haunt you so much.
And sometimes it's the other way around, where you have a tough start. I mean, look at what Soar did last split. They started off, what, 0-6 or something like that, and then came to the Gauntlet Land, won that, or came in 2nd place, moving on to Masters.
Here we go. The bait is set. Allegiance are waiting for Trifecta to walk around the corner. It's Kiki first, and in goes Weaken. Can't find the real ult onto Snoopy as the Aegis beat you straight away. Kiki bought enough time for Trifecta to reposition with the Fire Giant, and the engage is good. It's Cyclone who's in trouble. The Thorns are not going to keep him alive now as Ionic picks up the kill. Snoopy and Horrorwind unchecked in the backline here as Kiki did so much work, but that ult from Yankee was huge.
Big ult there. Snoopy's going to be forced back, as is Kiki. Yankee going to find Sino in that mid lane as well, and Allegiance find the good ambush coming out of that jungle.
1 for 1. Jungler for solo laner, both dead now for a good minute, but still the Phoenix on the left-hand side is going to fall. I don't think Oceans can stop that.
He's trying his best, but not a lot of AoE. Cannot find the defense, so now it's Trifecta trying to find this right side Phoenix as well, down to 1 HP.
Weaken goes in onto Key here for a second. You can see Snoopy just hovering around in the back lines here on that Vulcan once more. The Fire minions in mid, Fire minions in left, and the Phoenix about to fall on this right-hand side. Last-ditch defense from Weaken and Neramar, but I don't think they can.
can't quite. Weekend's going to be able to get back towards his fountain, but this Phoenix does eventually fall. Matt Yankee in a bad spot now, trying to juke around to get that to separate off.
He got it off.
Does get in the corporeal form, but Snoopy's all hunting.
Oh, he got Oceans instead. That's how good Snoopy's day's gone so far. 30-19. Trifecta are going to DreamHack.
Really well played from both Allegiance and Trifecta.